Hey everybody, Todd McFarlane. We're going to teach you perspective, which is a big word to basically say you can draw things that look real, that are living in the world on this last live drawing of 2017. I'll see you on the flip side, 2018. So let's go do it. If you learn perspective, you're going to be able to draw everything. This doesn't work for the human body. It works for everything behind the human body. So let's just sort of show you how the rules work. You have a line, you draw a straight line. This is what you call the horizon line. Look at anything in the distance and you're going to see the horizon. This is the horizon line. Anywhere along the horizon, you put a dot, right? So let's just arbitrarily put, let's arbitrarily put a dot right here. Here's a dot right here. I don't care. Put it anywhere you want. Now, from that dot, you start drawing straight lines from that dot. Out, 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 out. All from that dot. And that if you do a bunch of them, it'll look something like this. Can you see that? Okay, get in a little bit closer here. Now, here's why this is important. I'm going to take the lines here, and I'm going to fade them back just a little bit. All right, they're faded out. Good. Okay, here's why this matters. Because now, I'm going to grab another pen. I'm going to go to one of my blank drawings here. So now, everything you want to draw can fit within these lines. So let's say you wanted to draw a fence. You use this line and this line. So now you're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to draw a fence. And as long as I keep it within these lines, and I sit here and they get a little bit closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, 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 you have your fence. And if you want to put a piece of wood in it, as long as you're going from this point, then you can go, there's a piece of wood goes there. And as long as you go from this line here, you go, boom, there it goes here. So now you have, very quickly, you have a fence. And it's in perspective. Now, what happens if I want to basically do people or something else? You can use the same thing. Let's say we're going to use this line here and this line here, right? We're going to use this line and this line right here, the two I've marked off. That means, I'll do it real simple, if you're going to draw people standing, then here's your stick man. Your stick man's going to stand here. And then the next stick man is going to stand here. And the next one is going to stand here. Now they're going to have to get smaller. And they're going to get smaller heads. And as long as everything is within those lines, it's going to feel like they're going back in time. Right? So this is how you, again, you draw buildings. I just pick a couple lines. I'm going to draw a building, right? I go, I draw another building. I've got a building here. And then I use these lines. And now I actually have the lines for the windows that are going to be on the building. And very quickly, you can start doing buildings in perspective. And then you just start putting different doors and things on it, right? And now, so make sure you have that. Now, here's where it really starts to get really kind of cool. This is called a one-point perspective. One-point perspective is only going to get you so far. What you really want to do is you want to now have a two-point perspective. So here's the horizon, here's a point, and here's a point. So you, again, they're still on the one line, one. And now that you've got those, you draw a set of lines from one point, out, 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 and then you go to your other dot, and you draw lines going out the other way, and now you get them, and now you've got lines going from this dot to this dot, which is called a two-point perspective. Why is this important? Because now, if we go in here, it's very easy to start drawing stuff. Like, look, if I want to draw a building or a box, I just follow one of these lines. So I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to use this corner, and I'm going to come down here, and eventually it's going to touch another corner. And then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to follow this line here, and then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to draw it here, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do it on the other side. Now, I can either make it a box, or let's say we're going to make it long, like the back end of a truck. If we want to make it the back end of a truck, then we go way over here. We draw the line here. I'm going to do this freehand, although I should be using a ruler there. And we go here. And now, if I get rid of the lines, boom, boom, right? You have, and I get rid of your horizon, right? You have a box. You have a box that has 2 points, which is getting you the perspective. Now, I could turn this box into anything I wanted. I can make it a house. I can make it a building. I can make it whatever I wanted. And now if I wanted to have, again, let's go back to our lines. If I wanted to have another building or another box behind it, I ignore what I did for this box and I follow these ones back here. So then I go back here and I draw another line, and then I go up here and I use this line. Right? And then I come here and I use my perspective line here and I go, it would be here. And then I've got another building. Boom. And if I want to draw a third building, again, I come back up in here and I put another one, and then I use this line, and I come in here, and then I use a perspective here going up here, so it's going to start to get pretty steep, right? It's going to start to get pretty steep, and then you come up in here, don't. And then, like I said, if you want to do any kind of windows, then I'm going to do it freehand if you watch me, but I'm still, if you want to do it professionally, you come here and you go all the way across, but this is basically what it's going to look like now. It's going to start to go like this. And as long as you're following your lines, you're going to get a city building. Here's one here. Make it a little bit different. We'll make it like this. And then I'll come up in here and I'll do something like this. And the same thing here. All of this. And then, again, even if I want to put windows, as long as I'm following these two lines here, right? The windows just start getting closer together and they start getting smaller as long as you're following your lines. And it looks like, again, you've got a building with some windows in it. And it works for everything. It's basically how the eye works. And so anytime you want to draw anything, make sure you draw your one line, and this line can be anywhere you want it. And then you're going to have one set, two set, and next time we'll talk about the 3-point perspective, which is even the cooler, crazier one. So start practicing your perspective, because now once you can draw a body, you can draw everything else. A dragon, I don't care what you draw, a monster, everything behind that creature has to be in perspective to make it feel like it's real. Anyways, enjoy the new year. See you on the other side.